Here is a very short introduction to mindfulness. It doesn't replace the Recovery Academy group workshop run face-to-face, but it will give you an idea about whether you would be interested in finding out about mindfulness and using it in your life. If possible, please make sure you schedule in protected time of about 15 minutes where you can listen to this video in a space that is quiet, safe, and where you will not be disturbed. You can also pause the video where you need to, so that you can either read the slides at your own pace or take notes if you would like to. Please feel free to watch the video again as many times as you would like.
So what is mindfulness? This is a definition by Jon Kabat-Zinn from 2003. Mindfulness is awareness that emerges through paying attention on purpose, in the present moment, and non-judgmentally to the unfolding of experience moment by moment. So intentionally paying attention, being in the moment that we're in, the here and now. Therefore letting go of what was or what will be or what we hoped might be, and holding an awareness of ourselves and our experience with an attitude of non-judging, of accepting things as they are. So not trying to change things or make them different in any way, and holding an awareness of ourself and our experience with an attitude of kindness and compassion, something that has been made much more explicit in later definitions of mindfulness.
Holding these mindfulness attitudes can be really important. So, for instance, holding the beginner's mind. This is an approach where we hold a fresh, open attitude, like seeing things with fresh eyes, much like a child approaches things. A non-striving attitude will allow yourself to be in the moment as fully as you can, without trying to make things different to how they are, without trying to get somewhere, or pressurizing yourself to achieve anything that's preconceived. As we develop the capacity for mindfulness, we also develop these important attitudes alongside our understanding.
So now let's look at the benefits of mindfulness. So what happens when we begin to incorporate mindfulness more into our day-to-day lives? It can begin to change the way we relate to ourselves and our experience. And this can be hugely beneficial because it gives us more options for seeing and responding to the difficult things in life, as well as enriching our experiences of the pleasurable things in life. So some of the benefits we've listed here include seeing situations and our experience more clearly. And as this happens, we begin to recognise some of the automatic and habitual reactions that we have that may not be so helpful. And also what comes to light are more creative ways in which we might be able to respond to situations. We become more aware of the options that are available to us in responding to situations, and we begin to perhaps respond more effectively, especially to the complex or difficult situations, rather than reacting automatically to them. And over time, it builds resilience and better management of stress, improves our well-being and self-compassion, and it also increases our cognitive abilities, our problem-solving and decision-making capacities, and increases our emotional skills, such as empathy, and reduces stress, anxiety, depression, and anger, amongst other things. So there are many, many benefits to incorporating mindfulness into day-to-day life.
It's difficult to teach mindfulness just from talking about the principles and objectives of it. Practice, in essence, is the best teacher. And as we practice mindfulness, it has the power to change our brains.
This is a mindfulness practice with a focus on the breath. So listening to this in a space where it is safe to do so, where you can fully focus and let go of the usual responsibilities that you have. A space where you will not be interrupted. So making a definite adjustment in posture. Coming to a position which is upright and comfortable, whether you're standing or sitting, with your feet flat on the floor and your hands resting at your sides or in your lap. So sitting or standing with a sense of uprightness in the back and openness in the chest. Perhaps tucking your chin slightly in so that the crown of your head is pointing to the ceiling. Feeling your body in this position. And then when you're ready, narrowing the focus of your attention, zooming into the breath as you feel it down in the belly, in that place below the navel, where there are often very subtle sensations and movements that go with breathing. Perhaps noticing gentle rising and stretching on the in-breath, and a sense of falling away and easing perhaps on the out-breath. So giving the attention this one thing to focus on. Not trying to control the breathing in any way, but simply coming up close to and tuning into all of the sensations and movements of the breath as they are felt down in the belly. Each in-breath and each out-breath. And when the mind wanders, which it most definitely will, or when something comes in to claim the attention, just lightly noting what has moved into awareness, what might have hijacked the attention. So without getting into it, just simply noticing whether that's a thought or a sound or another body sensation. And then noticing any reaction and holding all of this in awareness with gentleness and with care, not giving yourself a hard time for this. And then letting that go and returning the attention to the breath, coming to rest once more on all those movements and sensations of breathing down in the belly. Tuning into the rising, stretching on the in-breath, falling away and easing perhaps on the out-breath, and any other sensations down in this region, sensations of breathing. And when the mind wanders again, which it may well do many, many times, then the task is the same. So just noticing with gentleness where it has wandered to or might have come in to claim the attention. Noticing your reaction to this, whether that's one of frustration or annoyance. And then without judging any of this, Gently but clearly returning the attention to the breath, coming back to all of the movements and sensations down in the belly that go with the breath. And then when you're ready, gently, as we begin to bring this to a close, broadening out the focus of your attention to take in once more a sense of the whole body, sitting, standing, and then broadening out the attention further to include an awareness of the space that you're in. This next slide outlines what we're doing in the breathing practice. We focus our attention on the breath, feeling and following the sensations and movements. Our attention wanders, and we eventually notice that it's wandered and where it's wandered to. And we notice our reactions to the wandering. And then we return our attention. We bring it back and refocus on the breath. We may go round this cycle hundreds of times in a mindfulness exercise, and that's okay. We are working with our minds in this way, and all of it supports our development of mindful awareness. We work with our minds, our attention in this way in any type of mindfulness practice, whether it's focusing on the breath, the body, sounds, thoughts, whatever the intended focus for our attention.
The more we practice, the more we develop this new skill. Practicing mindfulness over time means that we become more fully and readily aware of the present moment. Keep in mind the attitudes that mindfulness is best cultivated with. Attitudes of kindness and compassion, non-striving, patience, acceptance, and gratitude.
In addition to the more formal mindfulness exercises, there are many ways in which we can support ourselves to incorporate a mindful awareness into day-to-day life. And so here are some of these hints and tips. One of them is slowing down and talking less and focusing on one thing at a time when possible. So all of these really support the development of a mindful awareness throughout day-to-day life. Also focusing on the breath and the body whilst doing everyday activities, and focusing on one or more of your 5 senses as you do day-to-day things. These can really support the development of mindful awareness. And bringing a mindful awareness to all of our routine tasks or everyday occurrences can also offer a sense of centeredness or groundedness to which we can return whenever we wish to. And in the group workshop that we run with the Recovery Academy, we also offer the opportunity to try out other more formal mindfulness practices and more informal practices, the things that we can do to incorporate mindfulness into day-to-day life.
If it is helpful, please do pause the video to take a few moments to grab a paper and pen to write things down that you can think of in your day-to-day life that you could bring a mindful awareness to. Mindfulness helps us to develop the capacity to look after ourselves. Think of the things you can do for yourself that are positive for you, that give you that sense of pleasure and joy, give you a sense of taking care of yourself and a sense of satisfaction. Doing these with full mindful awareness It can heighten and deepen the effects and the impact of them. If you would like to, you could pause the video at this point and take a few moments to write down some of these things.
So as we come to the end now of our brief introduction to mindfulness, here are some resources that you may find useful. So the next 3 slides contain reading, websites and audio recordings of mindfulness practices and mobile phone apps that people have found really useful in developing an understanding of mindfulness and beginning to incorporate it into their lives. If you are interested in finding out more about mindfulness and having more opportunity to practice it, then please do go to the Recovery and Wellbeing Academy courses, their website, for dates for our more in-depth introductory workshop. And just taking this opportunity now to thank you for listening and for taking part, and we hope you found this useful.